You think efficiency creates strength. It doesn't. Efficiency creates fragility. The more a system optimizes, the more it depends on fewer paths. You think efficiency reduces risk. It doesn't. It concentrates risk. This is ACHRONIC, a long-form documentary series about power, geography, and time. Not events, not heroes, not chronology, structures that outlast empires. Efficient systems appear superior, faster, cheaper, more coordinated. They move with less friction, less redundancy, less waste. But efficiency changes more than performance. It changes structure. Because every optimization removes alternatives. Every shortcut removes options. Every improvement narrows movement into preferred paths. At first, this appears beneficial. Coordination becomes easier. Resources move faster. Decisions become simpler. The structure appears stronger. But underneath that improvement, dependency is growing. Because efficient systems rely on fewer alternatives, fewer routes, fewer reserves, fewer redundancies. The system becomes faster, but it also becomes narrower. This is why efficiency and resilience are not the same thing. Resilience survives disruption. Efficiency avoids disruption, and those are different goals. The more a system optimizes, the more it assumes continuity. Continuity of movement, continuity of coordination, continuity of alignment. As long as those conditions remain stable, efficiency appears powerful. But once disruption appears, the structure discovers what optimization removed. Alternative routes, alternative capacities, alternative responses. The system still functions, but it has fewer ways to adapt. This is where perception fails, because efficient systems often appear strongest immediately before exposure becomes visible. The structure appears highly capable, but internally, flexibility has already been exchanged for performance. Not intentionally, structurally, because optimization rewards concentration. Movement concentrates, dependency concentrates, coordination concentrates, and eventually entire systems begin relying on specific paths remaining available. At that stage, small disruptions produce larger consequences. Not because the disruption became larger, because the structure became narrower. This is the hidden cost of efficiency. The system becomes increasingly dependent on uninterrupted continuity. The map still looks connected, but fewer routes actually matter. The network still appears distributed, but dependency has already concentrated. Because concentrated dependency changes behavior. Systems begin organizing themselves around continuity instead of adaptability. Maintaining existing movement becomes easier than redirecting it. Preserving alignment becomes easier than creating new alignment. Over time, the structure begins rewarding predictability, not flexibility. Existing dependencies become increasingly difficult to replace. This creates a second layer of fragility, because efficiency does not only remove alternatives, it discourages creating new ones. Why build redundancy when the primary path appears sufficient? Why maintain excess capacity when optimization rewards utilization? Why preserve alternatives when concentration appears more productive? The structure becomes increasingly rational and increasingly exposed, because adaptation itself becomes expensive. Every alternative path appears inefficient. Every reserve appears unnecessary. Every redundancy appears wasteful, until conditions change. And once conditions change, the system discovers that flexibility was not waste. It was capacity. Capacity to absorb disruption. Capacity to redirect movement. capacity to reorganize under pressure. Without that capacity, adaptation slows, rigidity grows, and the structure becomes increasingly dependent on conditions remaining predictable. Not because prediction improves, because adaptation declines. Over time, the structure becomes highly effective under expected conditions and increasingly vulnerable under unexpected conditions, because efficiency reduces slack. All the things that appear unnecessary while the system remains stable. This creates a paradox. The more successful optimization becomes, the harder fragility becomes to see, because visible performance improves, even while adaptive capacity declines. The structure appears stronger, but its margin for disruption becomes smaller. Its tolerance for interruption becomes smaller. Its ability to reorganize becomes smaller. Eventually, efficiency begins creating exposure, not because optimization failed, because optimization succeeded. The structure removed everything that appeared unnecessary, until the unnecessary became essential. Wherever dependency grows, fragility grows with it. Quietly, progressively, structurally, because efficiency does not eliminate risk, it concentrates it, and concentrated risk is what eventually exposes the system.